up on NBA Today, how have the Thunder taken control of the conference semis? Danny Green, he spotlights one key advantage and what it means for Oklahoma City's title hopes. Plus, if you're still somehow sleeping on the Pacers, ooh, you better wake up, baby. Big Perk, he breaks down how Naptown is going full Freddy Krueger on the East. And the safe money is on the Knicks to advance to their first conference finals in 25 years. But are people writing off the defending champs too quickly? We debate. NBA Today starts right now. We start our show with a developing story. Warriors guard Stephen Curry, he was reevaluated today, and the team says that he is making progress in his hamstring recovery. He's been cleared to participate in light on-court workout shooting drills as well. He will be reevaluated again on Saturday. He was seen right here at shoot-around doing some drills this morning with the trainer. Of course, the Warriors have to win tonight to give Curry a chance to play again this season. We'll have more on this later in the show. But the Warriors game is the second game on tonight's slate. The first is all about New York, New York. They have a chance to do something tonight that hasn't been done in a quarter century, and that is reach the conference finals. New York has not won multiple rounds since 2000 when the third-seeded Knicks faced the Pacers in the East Finals. So here's your trivia for the day. How many different teams have made a conference final since the Knicks last did? 26 different teams. Now, the Celtics, they've taken double-digit leads in every game this series, but 3 times they haven't been able to close it out. New York has fought back from a pair of 20-point deficits in Boston and a 14-point deficit in Game 4, dominating in clutch time this series. Now, after rupturing his Achilles, Jason Tatum will miss just the second playoff game in his career. He's played in 706 career games in the regular season and playoffs, the most in the NBA since he entered the league. Jalen Brunson, he spoke on Tatum's injury this morning. Here's what he had to say.
The league needs Jason Tatum. What he's been able to do in his career has been remarkable, and so he still has a long way to go in his career. I mean, he still has a lot to do in his career, meaning he has a lot of time left to make an impact and make a name for his legacy, and what he's done is special. So when you see a player like that go down, it's not good for the game.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that sentiment. It's not good for the game. But thankfully, we got a little bit of good news from Jason Tatum this morning. He posted this on Instagram saying, thankful for all the love and support. So it looks like he's come through that surgery just fine. But this news, Brian Windhorst, is devastating for so many reasons. You were in Boston. Can you just take us inside the mood of this team and give us a sense of what you're hearing and seeing coming from this group?
Obviously, the entire Celtics fan base and team is deflated by this, but I think the focus has been that the series is not over. Even if Jason Tatum was healthy and playing tonight, the Celtics would have the same problem, and that problem has been the fourth quarter. So they're going to focus on what they can control. And Malika, they just got to clean it up if they've got any hope of turning it around. They're shooting 29% in the fourth quarter so far this series. They've been outscored by over 30 points, just 20%, 23% on three-pointers. It's just no way to live in the playoffs. And so while they may have to redistribute the effort that they're used to getting from Tatum, it doesn't matter if they don't clean up that fourth quarter. Otherwise, their season will be over.
It's not just the Boston Celtics that know that the series is marching on, Brian. The New York Knicks know it as well. Here's Brunson on the task at hand.
It doesn't impact how we prepare. We have to have the same mentality, same focus. They're still the defending champions. They still have a championship pedigree. They still have a lot of weapons that are dangerous. So it can't be a difference of how we approach it.
Joining us now, a pair of NBA champs, Kendrick Perkins, Danny Green. Perk, I'm going to start with you here. Do you think the Celtics can find a way to extend this series? And if so, how do they do it?
Hell no, this series is over. I'm not saying that they're going to lose this game tonight. I think Celtic pride kicks in. But again, the Knicks are going to close this series out, whether it's tonight or at home. But I'm looking at the first 3 minutes of this game is going to tell me everything that I need to know about the Boston Celtics and whether or not they're ready to get on that plane and go back to New York and compete in Madison Square Garden for a Game 6. I'm going to be looking at their energy. I'm going to be looking at their physicality, and I'm going to be looking at their leader and now best player on the team since Jason Tatum is hurt. I'm going to be looking at Jaylen Brown. This is a moment for him right now to rise to the occasion to show the world why when we mention Luka, Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, we need to mention his name. He was, pissed off this offseason for not being part of the Olympic team, and now this is one opportunity for Jaylen Brown to put this team on his back and not only get Game 5, but actually try to go and get this series being down 3-1. It'll speak volumes of, who he is as a player, and he's able to shine. The stage is set. Is he ready to dance tonight?
I mean, I'm with Perk. I think it starts with Jaylen, but the others have to step up. I think the series is over, but they do have an opportunity to stretch it. They can win tonight and beat them in Boston, but it's going to take a lot of the others. They're going to have a flurry of threes and make those threes. Drew Holiday, Porzingis, they need a lot more from them guys. Derek White was great in the last game. He has to continue that. Peyton Pritchard, they're going to need all those guys clicking on all cylinders for them to have a chance. And like Perk said, Jaylen Brown has to be the leader of this team. He has to show that he's the longest tenured vet there and show them. And Joe Mazzulla has a big opportunity here, too, to keep that locker room and give them hope and encouragement. It's a lot of onus on him. Everybody talks about the players, but the coach has a lot of pressure on him to make sure that this group is ready and willing to go and play in this game and try to stretch the series.
You have to imagine that this is going to be as an emotionally charged of a game as it gets for the Boston Celtics, trying to rally for your star player who can't be out there on the floor. But, Brian, you were telling everyone, hold your horses, easy. Don't write off the Celtics just yet. Why is that?
Yeah, I feel like I got to tell that to Perk. And you know who I don't have to tell that to? The Knicks locker room, because that is the message that has been emanating out of there. While the Knicks have not quite been to this level before, a lot of their players have been. OG Anunoby has a ring. We've seen Karl Towns just a year ago. He was ahead 2-0 in a playoff series, thought they were in great shape, let the other team, which was the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, just like the Celtics, back into the series. So Jalen Brunson, who's won titles at all levels, is always looking to maintain composure and to not get in front of themselves. So I think that the Knicks have been trying to cool everybody else down, including folks like you, Perk, who want to say it's over, because they know that winning here is going to be hard. They have won 5 straight road games in this playoffs, which is an amazing accomplishment, but all of them have been by 3 points or less. The 2 games here in games 1 and game 2 were decided by a total of 4 points. So I know that it looks bleak for the defending champs. I know that Tatum is obviously in a hospital bed and not here playing tonight in the elimination game, but there is still an appropriate fear, I think, would be the NBA term for this one.
Well, Wendy, while the Knicks are trying to cool me down, they're still trying to make you into a believer, because it seems like that you're a non-believer in these New York Knicks. And sometimes you have to win ugly games, and the Knicks have been finding ways to win games. The key in the playoffs is advancing. Winning games, advancing in the postseason. The Knicks have done that. Now, we could blame it on the Celtics' woes in the fourth quarter or whatever it may be, but let's give the praise to the Knicks for their fourth quarter performance and elevating their games. And especially, we know what Big Body Brunson is going to do, but Mikal Bridges and what he's done. Again, I'm not saying the Knicks is going to close this out tonight in Boston. I think that crowd is going to be fired up. I think those guys are going to be ready to play. Celtic pride is going to kick in, but this series is not going past 6 games. And I'm willing to make a bet with you on that.
Oh, well, that's going to be something that y'all can decide maybe in the next commercial break. But it does feel like the Knicks. He says, text me. All right, well, Brian, we'll make sure I want to be on that group text if I could. I would just love to know what's being said there. It does feel like the Knicks, so they played a near-perfect game here in Game 4. Jalen Brunson had a Jalen Brunson game. OG Anunoby, we talked about how he needed to have more than 5 and 2 points like he had the previous 2 games in order to really bring this team along. And Mikal Bridges came up so big for them in the fourth quarter. They need to replicate that sort of game again on the road to close this out. But no matter what happens in this game or in this series, Boston was already facing some tough questions about this roster. Those questions have only been exacerbated by this Tatum injury. So let's bring in our front office insider, Bobby Marks. He's in Chicago covering the Combine. But Bobby, what does this injury mean when you look at Boston's future here, whether that starts tonight or whether that starts in a couple of days?
Well, you hit it right on the head, Malika. They were looking at potential changes to this roster if they did not win an NBA championship here. And I think when you're looking at it, here are the 3 different scenarios Boston could be faced with. Certainly the first one, which is basically running back this roster here. Remember, it's going to cost $500 million to bring this team back. Every $3 million you spend, it costs you $25 million. The second option is certainly the cost-cutting option. When you're looking at players like Kristaps Porzingis, who's going to be on an expiring contract, potentially players like Drew Holiday and Sam Hauser, that's the cost-cutting option to get under that second apron. And then the third one, this is the most drastic one. This is the reset option here. When you're looking at keeping an eye to 2026-27, when Jason Tatum is a full go and you are building that roster around Tatum and Derek White. And what does that mean? Would you potentially look at possibly moving a player like Jaylen Brown in the offseason, picking up draft assets, basically, I don't want to say punting away this season, next season, but looking at the 2026 draft and then refocus basically 2 years from now? Again,
whenever their offseason begins, these were already the questions that the Boston Celtics were facing. Those have only been heightened in the wake of Jason Tatum's injury. Bobby, we really appreciate you stopping by. I was trying to figure out, I was messaging with Danny as you were talking. I said, does Bobby, he looks great. Did he get a haircut or something?
About him.
It's the glasses. It's the fresh face. Bobby, we appreciate you.
I want to look myself 10 years younger.
Bobby, you have achieved that and more, Mr. Marks. We appreciate your money moves. All right, coming up here on NBA Today, the Pacers headed back to the conference finals, but will they continue to be overlooked when they get there? Ooh, doubt them at your own risk. And SGA and the Thunder, they may have taken control of the series, but how about the entire Western Conference? I feel like there's one guy in Minnesota who maybe has something to say about that. Time, high stakes, high pressure, and that sets the stage for two superstars, two MVPs delivering body blows and going back and forth. Danny Green, we picked this up late. Tie game at 96 in Oklahoma City. SGA spins, cycles, lays it in high off the glass.
Daytime.
SGA puts the Thunder up by 2. But then here, it's Nikola Jokic that is able to respond. These two trading buckets, this is what we signed up for in this series. And it's not just the shot making, it's the gravitational pull of SGA.
Others, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Dumps it off to Isaiah Hartenstein. Just a really nice setup there. But then the next Nuggets possession here, Jokic.
Hit him with the ball.
High arcing floater off the glass. Game all tied, back at 100, back and forth we go. The next possession here, SGA hits a step back. Jamal Murray is perplexed. You landed in his landing space, bro. It's a foul.
Illegal.
Tough shot there, through contact. SGA finishes. And this is the next Nuggets possession here. Nikola Jokic, how? Chet Holmgren, his wingspan is 7'5". Every person in Oklahoma City just deflated after that shot.
His go-to at the end of the shot clock.
And with that, it's his second 40, 15, and 5 game in his playoff career, tied with Elgin Baylor for the second most all-time. Game all tied at 103. But then the next Thunder possession here. Jalen Williams, watch him in the corner there. We've talked about needing the others to show up. J-Dub with a huge bucket there, then having a nice conversation with his shooting hand saying, yes, sir. And that brings us to today's electric moment, brought to you by Hyundai. Under a minute left, OKC up 3. We've been wondering, when is SGA going to hit the shot? He's 4 of 21 on threes at this point in the series. Christian Brown on him now. Gets just a little bit of breathing room.
Gotta step up, Jokic.
And all of a sudden, the Thunder up by 6. And just look at the Thunder fans' reaction to that shot. Even Nana is perplexed. So was Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio.
Hartenstein screen, Shea, jumped out by Brown. Gildas Alexander 5 to shoot. Angle left fires a 3 that's online. Got it! Cha-ching! A Thunder money ball! Thunder by 6! Oh, baby!
I can't even try to replicate that type of call, so I'll just say cha-ching. SGA comes up clutch. But here's Jamal Murray on Jokic's MVP performance as well.
Yeah, I mean, a bad game, he had 26, 10, and 8, and it was like, yeah, he played bad. Like, no, he missed shots. There's a difference. He's still playing. He's still the engine of our offense. He's still coordinating. He's still an anchor on defense. He still does a lot of different things. So, you know, I don't think Jokic should be going through any type of slander when, you know, he's still playing All-NBA, MVP, Hall of Fame type of level.
No one guy can do it. I need Chet. Chet needs me. We both need Dub and Hart and K. Rich and so forth and so on. Like, we all need each other. Obviously, he's a really talented guy. But all we care about is winning the game, and we got one tonight. We got to go get one more.
You're only as good as your weakest link. I mean, that's a heck of a quote there from SGA.
Perfect. Perfect for what I'm about to explain to you, because I was one of the other guys that helped my team. Your superstars get you there, your others win you the series, that get you through the series when your superstars are tired. Jamal Murray got tired last night, and OKC outlasted him. Usually in the fourth quarter, OKC, they've been one shot, one pass, and isolation, no movement, and they get, you know, fourth quarter out. This game, they move the ball, attack the paint. You see the draw that he got, pump fake, draw, kick. Find Lu Dort, who hit 2 previous to this three-pointer. I don't know why Jokic is closing out so short on him. Lu Dort was hot. He's the one that got them back into the game. 50-50 balls, got them some loose balls, offensive rebounds. Here they got the zone going. SGA gets a pick and roll, attacks the paint, gets to move with the ball, move without the ball. Isaiah Hartenstein cut back door. Lob, easy dunk. Gotta love that, man. Others get involved. And this one was even my favorite one because it was the screen by Isaiah, which got them the 3. SGA gets to the paint, draws 3 guys to him, sees the open man, finds Lu Dort, swing quick, and you see Isaiah here sitting this big screen right here. That was a key play to them getting a wide open shot from J-Dub, who damn near ices the game or gets them the lead. They had, since in the fourth quarter, they hadn't had the lead all game. So this is what wins you the games. The others get them the little plays, get to the paint, attacking, swing, getting some open looks.
Richard Jefferson, I don't know if y'all remember him. He used to hang out on our show a whole lot more before he got important, but he would always say, the stars got to get you a game, your role players got to get you a game, and that is certainly what the Oklahoma City Thunder did here. But as you can see, SGA, he scored or assisted on more points by himself in clutch time of Game 5 than the Nuggets scored as an entire team here, edging Denver by a margin of 12-11. They fought back to take this series 3-2. But Mr. Spears, what do you think when you look at these last 2 games in particular, OKC has found that could be sustainable to carry them through this series?
You know, there's a closer for the Toronto Blue Jays. His name is Jeff Hoffman. Well, the Canadian for the Thunder, SGA, he's their closer. We've seen this the last 2 games. He's been phenomenal at the end of the game. His numbers, the rest of the game hasn't been great. But in Game 4, he locked it in, got him to win, got the clutch basket to win the game, and yesterday it was the same thing. He had the 3-point play. He had at 2-minute mark, and then 47 seconds left. He had a 3-pointer. Perk had a guy in Paul Pierce that used to close games for them in the key big games. SGA, he's that closer for the Thunder.
You got to ask yourself, like, how did he get to the point where he could close the game, right? And you got to give credit to his teammates. The Oklahoma City Thunder are deeper than the Pacific Ocean when it comes down to their depth. And that's what's winning them these games, especially the last 2. You look at the numbers of what they've done to Denver in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's been eye-popping, right? Like 63 points. The Nuggets 37 over the last, games 4 and 5. The Thunder shooting 49% from the field, 8 for 17, while Denver is shooting 2 for 24 from the 3-point range. And so you look at Alex Caruso, who's bringing that championship experience and that leadership. You got Jay Will, who is the one that comes in off the bench. J-Dub is the starter. You have Jay Will coming in, and he's mixing it up, wrestling down low with Jokic and getting him frustrated. You have Chet Holmgren came up with huge blocks. Isaiah Joe, and I thought Cason Wallace, their defense was pretty damn good. Luke Dort, who had been struggling this series from the tray ball. All of a sudden, he have his one shining moment where he's knocking down triples. And you heard Shea talk about it. Like, basically, like, I wouldn't be able to close the game if it wasn't for the others on my team being able to get me through the first, second, and third quarter.
100%. And you got to give a lot of credit to SGA because he did a great job of trusting them. Yeah. This is a game he had 30 points, and it didn't seem like it. The whole second half, fourth quarter, he wasn't that aggressive, but he was aggressive in making moves and getting his teammates open, freeing them up, getting to the paint, attacking. There was too much ISO ball in the games that they lost in the fourth quarter. It was one pass, one shot. He made sure they had extra passes, extra screens, got to the paint, and picked and chose his moments to get to the basket and make some shots and make some plays. But he allowed his other guys to step up and give them opportunities to win, especially when Denver was playing that zone. He found ways to penetrate the zone and get them open looks.
That depth on full display. For anyone wondering, the Pacific Ocean is over 14,000 feet deep. Ever since you said that, Perk, I was curious. And the Thunder are deeper than that. So how do the Nuggets, Perk, when you look at the fact that they've been outscored by 26 points in the last 2 fourth quarters, how do they get back in this? How do they force a Game 7?
Look, the biggest X factor for the Nuggets in this series is Aaron Gordon, right? You look at this series, the 2 games that the Nuggets have won in this series, Aaron Gordon had 22 points in each one of those games. The games that they lost, he's had under 20, right? They're undefeated in this postseason when he scores 20 or more. So Aaron Gordon is that guy. Remember in Game 1, Jokic had 42, but Aaron Gordon had 22. They had 64 of the 121 points. He is that guy for them. If the Thunder continue, especially Chet Holmgren, to slow him down, that favors the Thunder. But if Aaron Gordon decides to go back into championship mode of what we seen when they made their finals run, the most important piece outside of Jokic and Murray, then the Nuggets have a real chance of winning this series in 7 games. But he's the biggest X factor.
Well, we know we'll have a Game 6 of the Thunder and Nuggets series Thursday night on ESPN. It's all going down in that one. NBA Countdown tips off our coverage at 7:30 Eastern. This season 16-18, but what a turnaround. Since January 1st, Indiana has had the 4th best record in the league, going 34-14. But how did they make their 2nd straight conference finals? Well, Danny Green, let's dive into the highlight here. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers, they led by as many as 19 in this one. That was erased very quickly when Tyrese Halliburton started getting hot.
Yeah, he did. Hot it was. Did 5 in that quarter?
5 threes in the second quarter to get Indiana back in this one. Once again, pulls up. By the way, those 5 threes are the most by a Pacers player in the playoffs in the last 25 seasons here. So on to the third quarter we go. A big sequence here for Indiana. Trailing by 8, Donovan Mitchell, he steals it away. But watch Miles Turner here. Chases him down for the block. And then watch Nembhard come in for another block on Max Strus. Huge play, perhaps a turning point in this game for Indiana.
I thought that play was huge because, we started the third quarter. I think that right there kind of got us going there in the third when we started slow, and then we just kind of rode the wave from there.
And as you can see, Indiana outscored Cleveland 33-16 to end the third quarter after that sequence from Turner and Nembhard there. So the fourth quarter here, 4.5 to play. Indiana up 4 here. Halliburton this time with the block, then going coast to coast for the finish. And one.
Doing it on both ends.
He finished with 31 points, 8 assists.
It's overrated.
As the Pacers take down the top-seeded Cavaliers. They move on to the Eastern Conference Finals once again. But the Cavaliers, their 64 wins, are tied with the 2022 Suns for the 3rd most by a team to fail to advance past the conference semis in NBA history. That trails only the 67 games won by the 16 Spurs and the 07 Mavs. After the game, Donovan Mitchell, he addressed another early exit here for Cleveland.
Y'all gonna write us the off, man. But we'll be back. Let City down, let each other down. We'll be back.
So obviously this is a shock to the Cavaliers. Wendy, we kind of joke that you're the Cavaliers corner here, but you've covered this team, followed this team more closely than most. What does this loss mean for the future of the Cavaliers? Are we to write them off the way that Donovan Mitchell is saying that maybe folks will?
There's just no way that they could have seen this coming. Yeah. Certainly they respected the Pacers as an opponent. They knew that the Pacers were going to be a difficult matchup for them in certain aspects of it, but they just were mentally taken out of this series. I mean, you can point, I suppose, to the fact that there was some injuries and definitely some of their star players weren't at their best, but the Pacers got inside their head. They wore them down. Their strategy was really to apply pressure to the Cavs guards. And, the Cavs deal with that and deal with their undersized guards by just overwhelming the teams with offense. But in fact, the Pacers applied so much full court pressure and so much ball pressure that it got them out of their offense, got them out of their flow. Malika, at the end last night, the Cavs just stopped passing. And when you watch the Cavs during the season when they won 64 games, they were one of the best passing teams in the league. They basically reduced them to just sort of a shell of themselves. And so part of that's on the Cavs, but a lot of it is owed to the strong play and game plan of the Pacers.
No, we're not the ones that are going to write them off. They wrote their own selves off, right? With the lack of physicality. This team was so soft. Like, here's the thing, right? This is why I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell. One, a Donovan Mitchell-led team has never been to a conference finals. That's number one. Number two, Donovan Mitchell is the reason that J.B. Bickerstaff got fired, right? Because J.B. Bickerstaff was so strict. J.B. Bickerstaff was trying to bring culture to that organization. And most importantly, J.B. Bickerstaff was trying to hold those guys accountable and bring out the dog in them, right? And that's what they shied away from. They wanted to have fun. They wanted it to be peaches and cream. It is stressful going through the process of trying to win an NBA championship or even make it to the NBA finals. You lose sleep, you don't eat, You ain't talking to nobody. You walking into practice facilities and you may not speak to your coach or teammates throughout the course of a series. You hate your coach at times because he's on you so much about accountability. So now all of a sudden we're here. And I'm looking at the injuries, and listen, the last thing I ever want to do is question some injuries. And DG, I'm going to lead you off with this. But I'm looking at an ankle injury, okay? I'm looking at an ankle injury. You sit out game 2, Evan Mobley, and then you come back game 3. Well, your ass could have played in game 2. I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell last night, letting the world know that, I'm giving it all I got. I'm fighting through it. I mean, I'm beat up. I'm sore. We don't see that same stuff from Anthony Edwards. You got to have a different type of mentality. You got to have a different type of heart, passion. Going to the NBA Finals, trying to compete for a championship is not fun. It's stressful.
I'm with you on that, Perk. And to talk about Wendy's point, I think they did sleep on him, Wendy. I think they kind of took him lightly, and it cost him 2 games. When Darius sat out, he expected his team to take care of business. They did it with Miami. This is not a Miami Heat team. Indiana Pacers are very good, and you could not take games off. If you're able to play, you better get on that floor and figure out a way. Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter took a game. These are not teams you can sit out against. You have to play these games. This is the playoffs. So I'm with you, Perk. You got to find a way to get on the floor. If you can sit out just one game and come back, it's a pain tolerance issue. So if you can accept the pain tolerance and fight through it, you got to do it. You got to find a way to do that. And they didn't do that. And I think they took them lightly, which put them in a hole. And it made Donovan Mitchell very gassed and didn't have the energy to play. You see those lackadaisical plays that they had down the stretch. You cannot allow a guy to catch you, a big man to catch you in an open break court and block your shot. These are just plays that are just no sense of urgency, and they kind of slept on them the first 2 games, which put them in a hole.
I think when a 64-win team loses in 5 games in the second round in the same fashion that they lost a year ago, the hand-wringing begins and the questions over what worked and didn't work and how much of health was a factor. All of that stuff is going to come into play over the next couple of days and weeks as Cleveland sort of looks at how they want to move forward. But on this show, we're always very clear. It's not just what Cleveland didn't do. It's what Indiana did to Cleveland, and they took it to Cleveland time and time again. Here's what Tyrese Halliburton had to say about returning to the Eastern Conference Finals.
This is a special time, back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. We're not done. We still got, a ways to go, but it's a special feeling, man. And, watching the lottery last night, I remember being our representative at the lottery a couple of years ago and not wanting to to go back. So it's special, man. This group is special. We've, this has been built by many different, moves.
The Pacers have played with a massive chip on their shoulder the entire playoffs. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, Perk, and I don't know who they're going to play. Is it going to be the Knicks or the Celtics? Certainly it looks like it is going to be the Knicks as of right now. I would not be surprised one bit if the Indiana Pacers are the team to make it to the conference finals. When you have 6 different guys averaging double figures, 50% overall and 40% from 3, this is a deep team. This is a dangerous team. This is a healthy team. Do you think that they have enough? Because I do, Perk.
Absolutely. And whoever they face, and I believe it's going to be the Knicks, that series is going 7. But, Malika, let's not overlook the only guy over there on that roster on the sideline is the 65-year-old and Rick Carlisle. Let's talk about the beautiful job he's done in being able to adjust to the new age of NBA players, right? Maximizing every single guy on that roster. We're seeing Tyrese Halliburton play the best basketball of his career right now. Miles Turner. We're looking at Obi Toppin, Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith. Like, these guys are maxing out for Rick Carlisle at a high level on both ends of the floor. They play agenda-free basketball. They tough as nails defensively. I am completely sold on the Indiana Pacers. I slept on them all season long, but hat off to Rick Carlisle for the excellent job because he's been coaching his behind off.
Yeah, they're deep. They work incredibly hard. And 3 of the 4 games in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they were a shot or 2 away from taking down the Boston Celtics. Brian, speaking of Boston, we know you have to run, you have to go, you have to cover this team. We will see you on the show later this week. We appreciate it. Let's get to who we wonder. Yeah, text him that bet. Don't forget that, Brian.
Thank you.
Speaking of bets, look at this. The Knicks, they went from the longest.
Kind of a crazy draft lottery, but, just soaking all in, just like all the other guys that were there. Just trying to enjoy the moment. I didn't really think about where I was going to land beforehand at all. I just I knew it was out of my control, and I just kind of went into the whole process with an open mind, and not knowing that I couldn't control it. So just went into it with a happy face and just excited for any opportunity.
Our draft expert, Jonathan Gavoni, is live from the Combine in Chicago. That draft lottery was insane, as Cooper alluded to. We expect, though, to hear his name called first in the NBA draft. What has he shown at the Combine that Dallas is getting here?
Malika, Cooper Flagg has had a fantastic NBA Combine so far. He measured extremely well. He grew over an inch in the past year. He gained 12 pounds. He came out here. He tested really, really well. Bouncy and fast. He shot it extremely well in the drills as well. And just his personality really shined through in every test, every drill, carrying this Combine with his voice, encouraging teammates, being that glue guy and winner that everybody has fallen in love with over the past few years. Cooper Flagg, Dallas Mavericks fans, you have a lot to be excited about with this kid.
Well, we saw inside their war room when they found out that they got the #1 pick, and clearly that response is warranted. But beyond Flagg, the other top prospects are also working out here in Chicago. Did anyone stand out to you as the clear #2 from what you've seen so far, Jonathan?
Dylan Harper is going to be the #2 pick in the draft. I am 99.9% sure about it. He looked also really, really good, tested very well, shot it well. His body is in a great place. He's lost 15 pounds in the last years. He's also grown. He has measurements comparable to those of Dwayne Wade coming out of college. The San Antonio Spurs are signaling to teams that they are very excited about the opportunity to draft Dylan Harper. They are not pursuing trades from what we're hearing. They think that they can play Dylan Harper together with Steph Castle and De'Aaron Fox in the same backcourt. Obviously, teams have some question marks about the amount of shooting on that roster. That's something that they are probably going to address at a later stage. Dylan Harper is the second best prospect in this draft. He will go second, I believe.
I will take your 99.9% any day, Jonathan, but that's very interesting that they're not pursuing trading that pick. All right, I got one more question before we let you go. Your mock draft, it's up right now on ESPN.com. Is there anybody that you see who has the best chance of maybe making a jump into the top 5 at the top 10?
Yeah, Malika, NBA teams were buzzing about Kaman Malawach yesterday. The rate of improvement that he's shown in the last year with his body, his mobility, his footwork, his skill level. Just to find a guy who's 7'2", similar measurements to Rudy Gobert coming out of the draft, except he's stronger at the same stage. Kaman Malawach has made so much improvement since I first saw him as a 14-year-old playing in Mexico, coming out of South Sudan. This is a great story for the NBA, the way that they discovered this kid in a refugee camp in Uganda, took him to their academy in Senegal, came over to Duke. He's improved so much. Come on.